we have more important matters to discuss in the world of Tennessee football. One of which came out later last week, and that is the new generation of Tennessee football Smokey Gray uniforms. Tennessee unveiling the Volunteer Spirit is what they're calling these uniforms. And I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of them. I think Tennessee has done worse with the Smoky Grays in the past. But before you accuse me of not supporting the troops, I do support the troops, and I get what Tennessee was trying to do. But why the two different shades of gray? There was no need to do that.
See, I'm not as upset with them. Like, I wish they went in a more interesting direction with the Smoky Grays. I like the idea behind them, like, volunteer state, the military presence, everything. I thought it was cool. I thought it was also a little interesting that they added those like little track marks on the helmet. But yeah, like having two different shades of gray when they're supposed to be the smoky gray uniforms, a little interesting. I'll say though, they kind of remind me of Oklahoma State.
So here we go. There are your uniforms right here. The pants, man, I can't get into the pants.
Yeah, there's a lot of colors going on there.
Yeah, few too many colors for my liking.
And then the alarm clock numbers. I mean, I will say it's better than the Buccaneers old font back in the day. Much
yeah.
better than that. So
yeah,
that's at least a positive.
So I'm not a huge fan of these. I honestly think what they did last year was better. And I don't get into uniform aesthetics all the time, and so, it's funny because people aren't Tennessee fans when they look at those uniforms that Tennessee comes out with every year, the Smoky Grays, and they say, "Oh, those things are so awesome! I love that Tennessee wears the Smoky Gray." You talk to the average Tennessee fan, more often than not, it is either a mixed opinion or they absolutely hate them. One of the two.
Yeah, and I mean, I used to be one of those fans when it came to the uniforms. I just wanted to keep it bare bones, like traditional orange and white and stuff. Changed my mind a little bit when Lane Kiffin brought out the black uniforms. I thought that was a cool, like, little one-off thing. But I completely changed my mind when it came around to the blackout uniforms, and then like the smoky grays that Tennessee first got with Nike. Changed my mind a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I don't want Tennessee to get too crazy with it. This uniform design's doing a little bit too much.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of an exercise here, Jordan. There are now 5 generations of smoky gray Tennessee uniforms. Power rank them for me, please.
Are we counting the ones with Adidas?
Yes. Posty says original is by far the best. Is that original Nike or Adidas, Posty?
Oh,
because the Adidas ones, I got to tell you, they were nasty. They were nasty, especially with that white helmet. They did not look good. I had one of those. Okay, original Nike is what Posty says.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with you on that, Posty. I really liked them when they first came out. Like the Smoky Mountains on there was such a phenomenal design. Plus, there was a lot of good memories with Josh Dobbs and company during the times. That would definitely be my number one. Number two would be last season's Smoky Grays. I like the little tri-star, everything. I never thought that Tennessee would ever use that on a uniform, but it's pretty solid. Not doing too much. Just nice little adjustment. Third would probably be the current ones, honestly. The ones that just got unveiled. I'm not a huge fan of them, to be honest. It's interesting that they changed it up, but I probably would put it 3 because the fourth would be the Condredge Holloway ones from a couple of years back with the orange shoulders and everything. I thought that I would like those more than I ended up liking them. Like when I heard the concept that they were going to pay homage to him and everything, I thought it was cool in theory, but I didn't really like the way that it looked on the field too much. And then what is there to even say about the Adidas ones number 5? I mean, like the freaking shoulder pad mess that they had going on there, it looked like the back of a pickup truck.
Well, you know what they almost released, right?
Oh man. Yeah, that was
Tennessee dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah, I heard actually I heard a thing about that actually, because I didn't know this, but apparently like during the time when Tennessee was with Adidas, the university wasn't in full creative control of the uniforms.
No.
Adidas was, and they presented that to them, and then I think fan backlash of the leaks and everything, they were like, no, let's not do that. Yeah, that was crazy with the checkerboard numbers and everything, or the checkerboard shoulders. I mean, yeah, that would have easily been the worst uniforms in Tennessee history, and it would not even be close.
Yeah, and Adidas had already made the urine yellow numbers the previous couple of seasons, so they presented that crap, and that's who Tennessee is. It's not confirmed yet, but it is highly possible that Tennessee is going back to Adidas. In fact, it may be probable, but we'll see what exactly happens there. I'm sure there are more steps to go through with the deal, but it does sound like it is close to a done deal. Did see where Auburn flipped from Under Armour to Nike, but basically kept the same designs on their uniforms. They just got the swoosh on there instead. I don't know. Maybe Nike or Adidas makes that gesture should Tennessee go back to it. But yeah, that I know that it's kind of a mixed emotion because, well, first off, that's what Tennessee won. That's what Tennessee won the national championship in, was Adidas, but it is also responsible for some of the worst designs in Tennessee football history. I won't deny that. Okay, so Jordan, you and I are almost symmetrical on our rankings for the Smokey Gray jerseys. I have to agree with the original Nikes being the best ones. And you know what's crazy is like I didn't even notice the mountain design on the helmets until like a couple years after they debuted. It's kind of like it's kind of like San Diego State's football helmets, where it looks like it's just this dark red, but you zoom in on it and it's actually like this cool like Aztec hieroglyph. It's just like hidden in there and you don't see it, but until you get a close-up picture of it, and then you realize, oh wow, that's really, really cool. So yeah, I have to go with the original Nike ones. Number 2, again, I'm in agreement with you. I think the ones they did last year were pretty good. I thought the TriStar worked out very, very well. And again, not too much going on with them. I think you kept them relatively plain, which is okay. You don't have to have a lot going on with your uniforms. I mean, there's a certain school out west that does a ton with theirs and has no national championships to show for at all. Meanwhile, there's a school to our south who wears the plainest uniforms on this planet and has tons of them. So uniforms are not everything. Number 3, again, going with you on this one, Jordan, the 2025 rendition, the Volunteer Spirit. I definitely think they are better than previous creations, but again, I'm just not crazy about two-tone gray. It's just not a stellar look, I don't think. Again, I like what they were trying to do, but I just don't think it looks particularly pleasing aesthetically. 4 and 5 are where we're going to disagree. I mainly just because of bad vibes, and I don't know, it did happen with the original Adidas ones under Butch Jones too, but having to sit through that Austin Peay game in 2023, I mean that was a bad experience first and foremost, and second off, like the orange yoke, it would have been cool on an away jersey, and if you had done a white one for a home jersey, that would have been really cool too. If you were able to pull it off. But I don't think it looked good on gray. I really don't think it looked good on gray. When I remember seeing those unveiled before the season started and just thinking to myself, what is Tennessee doing here? And that was kind of, you know, the whole That was what that whole Austin P game felt like. What is Tennessee doing here? Why can't Joe Milton hit guys within 4 yards of him with a pass? Why is he taking Squirrel White's fingers off with them? Like what is the what's going on here? Why is Tennessee struggling against a mid-tier FCS team at home? So it's mainly bad vibes for me with the Artful Dodger ones. Again, I get what they were trying to do, but I don't like those as much as even the original Adidas ones, which I still think were terrible.
Yeah, just not a huge. Here's the funny thing about those original Adidas ones. I was excited a little bit during the time. I thought it was a cool concept, and I actually, you remember that crazy catch that Marquez North had? Yeah,
I was
picture.
there.
Yeah, that picture, that pylon picture that he had right there. That used to be the screensaver on my phone for a long time. So I mean, there was a cool little memories associated with them, but like now in the modern day, I'm not really a fan of them.
No, I'm not either, which is why they're near the bottom of my list. Um, White on gray is just not a good look for anybody. Unless of course you're a service academy, in which case it's okay. But hopefully Tennessee does not do that again with Adidas. Maybe you're a little bit more of an innovative this time around. I did see some funny theories with Tennessee releasing those uniforms this week, like Nike making Tennessee want to run back to Adidas with these new Smokey gray releases, which and that could very well be the case with that. Who knows? But yeah, those are my rankings. I think for the most part we are in agreement, and the two things we disagree on are the ones that we dislike the most.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad we got the same top three right there too. I mean, I think it's pretty clear like that the original and the ones for last season are the best. I feel like it's hard to argue with that, but everything's subjective. But those are definitely my same top two as well.